since Christmas, we've been doing greatest striker, greatest winger, greatest midfielder of the Premier League era. So what we said is at the end of the season, we pick our all-time Premier League 11, and then we do one sub for each position as well. So like one defender, one midfielder, one striker. We generally have done them like off the top of our heads, which means we miss out some players and stuff like that. But I am fascinated to see if certain players do or don't make it, like for you, because I know there's some people who have certain players, in their all-time Premier League 11s, which I don't have in mind. So I'm kind of interested. You always have that recency bias and the nostalgia bias as well, because obviously you've grown up watching United home and away through some very successful times. So you're going to look fondly on that era, and people who watch now who've grown up and seen like Liverpool win a league or City win a league, Chelsea win the Champions League, they're going to favour those players. But it's all subjective, it's all opinions. But I am interested in what yours are. So first and foremost, mate, we'll go first 11. Who have you got as the greatest ever Premier League goalkeeper for your team?
What's that again?
Who's the greatest? Who's your starting keeper in your first, Premier League all-time 11?
Peter Schmeichel.
No question. No one else.
No question.
So for me, it's clear. It's between Peter Schmeichel, Petr Cech, and Edwin van der Sar. I've kind of gone with Peter Schmeichel as well, simply for longevity. He did it for slightly longer than the other two, but I think Petr Cech is like not far behind. And Edwin van der Sar, the only reason he's not like right up with those two for me is simply because he came quite late in his career and didn't do it for as long in the Premier League with United. But like that 2 or 3 years he was there was unbelievable. He won the lot. But yeah,
he did all right for Fulham.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But Schmeichel, I think, just for longevity's sake.
Longevity? What, 8 years? 9 years?
Well, I know that compared to like your brother or Gary Neville, it's not as long. But in terms of generally speaking, to be at the top level for that long is impressive, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, Schmeichel for me, I think gets honourable mentions to Edison, Allison, all these recent ones.
Left
back first, mate. Okay. So I don't think there's really a discussion about this, because I think, people like Luke Shaw could be in there, but just because of his injuries, you can't really consider him. Ashley Cole for me is the standout. I don't think there's anyone else really who touches on his longevity as well, but also his quality at both Arsenal and Chelsea set him way above the other candidates. Can you throw any out there which would sort of contest with him? I saw some people saying and some Liverpool fans were saying Andrew Robinson, and I was like, come on, it's like that's just a whole different level. Yeah. And the thing is, you got to consider like longevity. I'm going to say that word again. You got to consider defensive aspects, assists, like the whole lot, clean sheets, their trophies won, importance to their team. Dennis Irwin, I think, is a very honourable mention. Maybe like a Stuart Pearce, perhaps, or like.
He was a right back, Dennis Irwin. He was right-footed.
He was right-footed, wasn't he? But he rarely played right.
He could play left foot. His left foot was just as good as his right, but he was right-footed.
So right back is always a controversial one for me, because we talked about it before, like the way Gary Neville underplays how good he was all the time. Like he was like some farmer who was very lucky to play at the top level, and like it's just rubbish. He was a top level right back, got assists, excellent defensively, was versatile, could play centre back, all over the place, and was all about his team. Won all the trophies. For me, it's between him, Kyle Walker, and Zabaleta, because I didn't consider Dennis Irwin for right back because he was a left back, but I understand why people would put him there. Gary Neville just squeezes it for me, but I understand the argument for Kyle Walker as well. What about you, mate?
No, yeah, I'm saying Gary Neville. Just because he weren't as quick, but no, offensively, yeah, it was much better. But yeah, Kyle Walker will be on the bench for me.
Well, we'll get to that now. I think
Yeah.
Zabaleta of City deserves a mention.
No.
What's
Not
the
for
lad
me.
who played? What's the one who plays for Chelsea? He only recently left them. Played centre back and right back. Oh,
Ivanovic.
no, well, he was all right, but the other one,
Ascoletta. All right. Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
No.
I like him as
No.
well. But Neville for me is the obvious choice.
Lee Dixon was not bad.
Yeah, no, that's another one. And then I tell you, who was good for Arsenal, mate, back in the day. He's a bit underrated. Is Lauren? I thought he was real good.
Yeah, he was all right. He was all right.
Aggressive.
He was a midfielder.
Wasn't a midfielder.
He was a midfielder playing right back.
Centre back pairings, mate. Here we go. Now we're getting into the controversial areas. So just to name a few, first of all, you got Ledley King, Kulu Toure, Sammy Hupia, Jamie Carragher, Jack Stam, Vincent Kompany, Steve Bruce, Pallister, Carvalho, Vidic, Van Dijk, Tony Adams, who else was there? Sol Campbell, Ledley King, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry. Like, there's a lot of centre backs to choose from. So tell me your centre back pairing and why they beat out those other names.
I was torn between Van Dijk and Jaap Stam. Rio Ferdinand's in, not standard. Because he's the best one I've seen.
Agreed.
But I would probably go Jaap Stam.
So Jaap Stam for me, like, I agree with you on Rio Ferdinand. Like,
No, in fact, I'm going to go Virgil van Dijk because Jaap Stam was only in the Premier League for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
and that's
what I was going to say.
So yeah, I'm going to go with Van Dijk.
Interesting. So my thing with Stam is I think he is, pound for pound, the greatest defender to ever play in the Premier League. However, like you say, I think he was so good, mate. He had everything, but he didn't do it for too long because he obviously left in controversial circumstances, etc. But I think he was absolutely phenomenal. Rio Ferdinand is the best ball playing centre back there has ever been in the Premier League, and I think he's the first choice centre back, and then picking a partner. Someone who I particularly really like is Tony Adams, and I think sometimes that kind of recency bias takes over a little bit. But Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce as well, they were excellent. Vidic, I think, deserves a mention as well, yeah. But as a partnership, if you looked at the best centre-back partnerships, I think Vidic and Ferdinand are probably right up there. Van Dijk, it's difficult, right? Because he's won everything. He's performed at a very high level. But he seems to me, at least, to be either exceptional or average. Like, there's no sort of...
Right, so who are you going with?
I think I'm going to go Tony Adams, mate. Really, like, quality defender, physical, good on the ball.
Better than John Terry, yeah.
Oh, mate, John, I just don't think John Terry... don't get me wrong, an excellent centre-back, excellent Premier League player. But for me, I could list 4 or 5 centre-backs who've played Premier League football who I would rate above him. I just don't think he's as good as people think he is. Like, if you look at some of the partners he played with, like Ricardo Carvalho, what a defender he was. He read the game so well that I think he helped John Terry look better. Now, I'm not saying John Terry's shit. I'm just saying, for me, he's not that top level.
Okay.
But people will...
Right, midfield.
Oh, here we go. What are we doing? 4-4-2, is it? Effectively? Or do you want to do like 4-2-3-1 or whatever?
Right, well, you do what you want. I'm doing 4-3-3.
No, mate. Yeah, go on. I'm going to do 4-3-3, thinking about it. That suits me better. First midfielder on the list, mate. Who you got?
Steven Gerrard.
First one for me, Roy Keane. I think it speaks for itself. I can't have this slander, people thinking that Roy Keane was not a good footballer and he was just like just like a workhorse who was aggressive and like, all these things, like a leader. He was so much better than that. Like quality footballer, really rate him. So Roy Keane's would be the first midfielder on my list.
Second one would be Paul Scholes.
So I've gone second. I'm going with. I'm really torn because if I do Patrick Vieira, it means that I can't put Frank Lampard in there. So I'm going to go with Lampard. Keane and Lampard as a double pivot. And then my third central midfielder will be Paul Scholes in the number 10, just behind the strikers. Who's your third midfielder? So Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne. So you've gone Scholes, De Bruyne, and who was the first one you said?
Scholes there, quarterback, and Gerrard and De Bruyne getting on playing.
And I've gone Keane, Lampard, and Scholes. And then right wing. This is an interesting one, right wing, isn't it? Like, do you leave people like David Beckham out? Do you leave
what for Cristiano Ronaldo?
Exactly. Well, I'm asking the question: who comes into the conversation for a greatest right winger of all time in the Premier League?
How many right wingers have scored over 30 goals? Let me think.
Not many.
Ronaldo. Yeah, Ronaldo.
So yeah, I think. See if there's anyone in there who I would pick over him. Hazard, maybe Salah. I think Ronaldo is the obvious choice, and he broke all the records. So for me, I'm going Ronaldo on the right. And then, so we got a centre forward and a left winger. Let's go with the left winger first, mate.
Go on then.
So I question myself because I've got probably more United players in there than I thought I would have. However, when I look at it and just think, well, why is that? It's because when I've grown up watching football, I've watched your brother, I've watched Ronaldo, Rooney, Van Nistelrooy, all these people dominating. So, yes, the likes of Ginola and Mane and all these different, Gareth Bale, all these different players off the left, Hazard, Perez, Salah, they're all exceptional players, but none of them have done more in football than Ryan Giggs. I don't think you can make it. You can make an argument for all of them, but I don't think that any of them come close to what he achieved, the consistency that he achieved throughout playing in his career. So from a football point of view, I don't think he's a bit like Ashley Cole, mate. That left-hand side, I don't think you can question either one. So
yeah, I'm torn. You see, because where do you fit a Thierry Henry in?
And this is it
on the left there.
And this is it. You should
get
certain people in.
Then you put Arkin on the bench. So Thierry Henry, but because my striker's Wayne Rooney.
Which means you got then you're leaving out Van Nistelrooy, Alan Shearer's.
I've got Harry Kane's on the bench, my striker.
So you going with your brother left wing?
Yes.
Or you?
Yes.
So right. So again, I've got Rooney up front as well. As far as I'm concerned, he's the greatest English player that's ever come through. So he's the obvious choice for me. So bench.
My striking sub is it's got to be Thierry Henry.
Yeah, because you can't have him and Kane, so you got to have
my midfielder sub. Ooh,
it is tricky.
Roy Keane. And my defender sub. Ooh, I'm gonna have Ledley King.
Interesting. What about your keeper?
Because he was a player, mate.
Oh, mate, he was
player.
awesome. Just his knees, mate, wasn't it? That was the only thing which stopped him.
Yeah, very good player. So I remember him well. Sol Campbell's very close, but he can't. But his first touch is a 10-yard pass. So no, not in modern day football. He'd struggle. Like Tony Adams, Vidic, John Terry, but no, yeah, my sub would be, who did I say?
Ledley King.
Ledley King, yeah, Ledley King.
And what about your keeper?
Goalkeeping sub would be Alisson.
Fair enough. My substitutes: goalkeeper, Petr Cech, defender, Virgil van Dijk. Midfielder is a tricky one because you got, like, I could put Gerrard there, I could put De Bruyne, I could put Vieira, I could put Set Fabregas, Makelele. Struggling with it. I'm going to go with De Bruyne though. I think he deserves.
We've more or less got the same squad though, haven't we?
Yeah, same squad, different starters, more or less. And then my striker is, like, I find it very difficult to leave out Thierry Henry, mate. But then I also think, like, Alan Shearer is one of the best finishers that's ever been in the Premier League. I look at the impact Cantona has had. I look at
He's a bellend, so why would you want him on?
So, and then you've got others, like Harry Kane. But for me,
Harry Kane.
I have to have Thierry Henry in the squad. And if it comes down to Thierry Henry or Harry Kane, I'm going to go with
bench that.
Some squads, mate. But what I'll do is, when I'll clip this and I'll put our squads our teams next to each other, and people can decide if they agree and they disagree. And look, it's subjective at the end of the day. People will disagree. People will have different opinions. People get on me because I'm not on the sort of Shearer and the Gerrard and John Terry loving. It's not that I think they're shit, mate. It's just
Steven Gerrard's the complete midfielder. He could do everything. So yeah, he's got to be in for me.
Could do everything except win a league title, mate. Only playing, but no, quality player, mate. Quality player. But I had to, like, for my bench, like, I had the midfield kind of picked, and for my bench, I had to get De Bruyne in there. Like, De Bruyne for me had to be in the squad. I only had one slot left, and it was De Bruyne or Gerrard. I'm going with De Bruyne because he's De Bruyne. Like, it was difficult, wasn't it? Because if you put, like, for me, it was like, who do I put in the number 10? Do I go with Rooney and then get an Henry or someone up front, or a Kane?